Hello, welcome back to the next video on my ongoing series of 1968 in comic books. I ended the last video with some of the books that came out in January of 1968, but I did not talk about DC. Neal Adams came on the scenes in September of 67. And September, October, he did like one covers per month, I think. And then in November, he started to do a couple more. And then by December of 67, he did, I believe, 4 or 5 covers. But by January of 1968, no doubt, DC has recognized his talent and begin to, for the lack of a better word, pimp him out to do as many covers as he can handle. And right off the bat, in January of 68, for the next 2 years, Adam was doing 7 to 9 covers per month. I mean, the man was extremely prolific in drawing a lot of the covers for DC. But perhaps the most notable in January of 1968 is Batman 200. Neal Adams has drew Batman on the covers for Detective Comics as well as Brave and the Bold back in late 67. So he had drew a couple of covers, but the first time that he drew a cover for the Batman title is this very issue. This book is incredibly hard to find in high grade for some strange reason. Even though it's a white cover for the most part, I always have a hard time finding a replacement for this book. But what makes this book special, because is the date stamp there that you see. So even though it's probably very fine plus range, I'm pretty happy keeping it. I rarely try to find an upgrade, but I love the date stamp here. So for January of 1968, Adam did, I think, 7 covers, but I picked my favorite 3. So here's the Spectre, gorgeous, beautiful drawing. And then of course his Strange Adventure with Deadman. That is an awesome cover. So that's for January. Okay, back to Marvel. In the last video I mentioned that in January of 1968 Marvel put Mary Jane on the cover for the first time, and this actually kicked off a 3-part storyline that spanned to issue 60 right here, and then in March issue 61. It's a very good, I enjoyed these 3-part stories, and I probably will give I probably will do a video on this storyline in my other series when I focus on multiple issue storyline of the Silver Age, and will give you a closer look at that time for these 3 issues. So once again, by 1968, Marvel was doing a lot of multiple issue storyline. I'm not sure the decree from the big boss on top as far as no more multiple issues storyline to confuse the readers. I'm not sure how closely the writers and authors was following that order, because there are plenty of awesome 3-part stories in many titles, and this is one of them. As far as February of 1968, for sure January started out a big bang, but February was even a bigger bang in that Marvel launched Captain Marvel #1. I may have not shown some of these books before, so I probably give a closer look at the end of the video. So you get Captain Marvel #1. This is the purple variant. For those of you that have seen this book many times, I think the blue variant, the blue color is supposed to be the right one, but I have here the purple variant. And then they have the Submariner #1. You got Shield #1. You got Doctor Strange 169, his first solo title, is a spin-off from Strange Tales. So right here, so right there, you get 4 books. And last but not least is Iron Man 1. This book I have tried. I used to own like a mid-grade, like a 4.5, 5.0 books that I sold a long time ago. I kind of wish I didn't sell it because I love to have a raw copy to enjoy. And I had this slab. I have been trying to find a 9.0-ish to buy in raw state to get rid of this slab so that I can enjoy it along with the rest of my raw Silver Age books. So there you go. The incredible amount of big books that came out in February of 1968. So that's a big month for Marvel, you know, even more so than January of 1968. And one of the things I brought up in the last videos is the changes in culture and society. No doubt there are a big change in fans and the perceptions of the story as well as the art. You know, I brought up earlier how Neal Adams started to make his big historic presence in 1968 and are doing a ton of covers starting in January of 1968. No doubt the influx of new fans that came into the hobby, the younger fans, the pre-teens and the teen that start to pick up the comic books for the first time in 1968 is not the same as those that pick up the books in the early 60s. This is just my opinion since I don't, you know, have any proof, but I have a big hunch that those fans that pick up the comic books or the hobbies because of what they saw as far as, you know, Neal Adams covers may not look at Jack Kirby in the same eyes as those that pick up Fantastic Four 1 just 7 years earlier. You know, today at my age I can look at Jack Kirby style, Neal Adams style, and I love Neal Adams the most, but I also love and respect Jack Kirby's work. But I'm not sure for the younger, newer fan, younger people don't think that way, okay? They either love something or something sucks, okay? So that's just the way the human minds work. I don't think a 12-year-old that would pick up Batman 200 because it's a cool covers would look at Jack Kirby work with the same admiration. It's just my hunch, okay? I don't know anybody that started collect in 1968, so I can't pick their brain to understand what their thought was, but it would be nice if someone fit into that category can shine in and do a video and let me see and hear what he or she think about my current thoughts. But I think because of Neal Adams' emergence in 1968, that slowly played into the impact of how Jack Kirby was less popular in the early 70s. You know, it's no doubt Jack have his fan, but this is the generation issues I was talking about. The people that love early Silver Age Marvel, that follow Marvel from 61 by the early 70s, they're no longer kids or young teenagers. They're college age. They probably left the hobby, do other things, and the new collectors that pick up the hobby, that enter into the hobby in 1968, certainly, you know, don't know much about Jack Kirby, and probably fell in love with Neil Adams first. And then by the time that Jack start to, you know, come out with the Fourth World, it just doesn't have the same impact on the newer fan. And unfortunately, those same fans that love him in the 60s may not be in the hobby by the early 70s. So I think there's many other factors, you know, but what I just mentioned is part of the many factors that I believe play into why Jack Fourth World failed or not popular enough to keep on going. But that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will continue with March of 1968 in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye. Okay, so here's a closer look of Captain Marvel 1. Gorgeous, perfectly centered copy. This book is hard to find in super high grades because of this black right here. Often you see a lot of flaws and creases in this area, but beautiful Gene Colan's cover. Inside you have Gene Colan and Vince Colletta. You know, we all are very familiar with how Vince Colletta criticized for being a very not so good inker, but I can say that I believe the work that he done for this issue is actually very good. It's not light at all, as you can see. It's very well done, and you know, if Vince Colletta ink every issue in the same kind of consistency, I don't think he would get a lot of criticisms. Okay, but as you can see, look at that. Let's look at the back of Captain Marvel. That's great work there. Great works there by Vince Colletta. Okay, so great issue. Next, you have Submariner #1, another power pose, power stand. This time you have the great work by John Buscema. Gorgeous glossy copy, perfectly centered. You know, for me, this kind of grade for Silver Age is more than enough. I mean, I don't need to have 9.4, 9.6, 9.8, 9.0. Good enough for me. In the side, you have great drawing by John Buscema. For sure, one of these days I will do an artist spotlight on John Buscema. It's definitely on my list of things to do. In my opinion, he is the best artist for actions. That's hard for me to say that, but you know, as much as I love Gene Colan and his style of action, I like Buscema just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Okay, not much more, but if I had to pick one, as far as action, I would have to go with Buscema. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Until the next part.